So 30 days from now, we're going to be right back here. We have to take what we've seen today, figure it out, and do it. We have to see it, understand, and do it, right? So that each month, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then everybody else online, 15, 20 people are having their biggest problem solved every month. We're one component of that. That's huge. And most people don't think they can because they don't think they can. Right? Henry Ford said whether a man thinks he can or he can't, he's right. Absolutely. So, this is going to be where we're going. This is where we're at. Walls of opportunity. That's what we've been talking about. It's your current way of thinking. Most people just think, well, this is just the way it is. But walls of opportunity is, I'm going to get over the wall, under the wall, to the left, to the right, blow it up, tear it down. Some way, somehow, it's going to happen. And that's what's going to keep happening month after month. 6 steps to overcoming blindness. Clean your glasses, get involved, close your mouth, open your mind, stand on your own story, and humble your heart. That's how this thing can come together. That's a very important aspect, and that's on your outline. So, as we get into today, I want you to be thinking about the 3 steps to anything. This is the DNA for life. 1 is examination, 2 is solutions, and 3 is implementation. That's the outline. Now, the examination part could be simple, it could be intermediate, it could be really detailed. It could be a 30-minute strategy session. It could be a business x-ray. Solutions could be basic, intermediate, or advanced as well. Most people pick the basic, but some people pick the advanced. Other people in implementation, there's a lot of people that do a quick start because they get all excited. And if they can slowly stop, a quick start and a slow stop, they're going to have faster results. Because a lot of people do quick start and then a quick stop. Some people do a slow start and a slow stop. And that isn't bad, but the best is quick start and slow stop. It's faster results. You see it happening faster. And that's what we're going after today. Save that. This is the next dimension principle. There's 10 levels. Not that it's perfection, but it's mastery. We're talking about converting prospects faster today. So, no matter what part of the dimension you're in, you're going to need somebody to help you get to the next dimension, and that's what this is about. It's the simple to complex to simple principle. Where we start out with what we know, we have to get a lot more complicated, take 10 times longer to actually go through something so that we can actually get a simplified process at a higher level. So, the first part was a modified speed networking where we actually look at what we've accomplished, and I think that was very powerful. The next segment we're going to do today is wins and biggest challenges. And to help us do that, Wendy Moses is coming up to do this. Now, before you come up, is this your first month?
Yes.
This is pretty spectacular. Do you see why that's spectacular? Somebody shows up for the very first time, and she's presenting. Makes me want to go, Because people sometimes show up for months and months and months and months, or they don't show up, and then they show up again, and then they don't show up, and then maybe we never see them again, or they show up again, and they've missed so much. And then somebody who's been here a long time and sitting in the pews, if you will, and just taking it all in, and not actually participating in some way. Just taking, is missing out. Now, this is spectacular because Wendy shows up, she's presenting. Go, yeah, we just need you to present. Okay. Yeah. Quick start, slow stop. Right? Come on up and share some wins and biggest challenges.
Okay.
Wendy Moses.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thanks for the pre-conversation before, because I think it really will help with what I'm going to share. first, how many people in the room actually present? I know you do, like get up in front of people. Could you share that? Okay, so I have a question. Does it work if you pretend somebody's in their underwear? Because I haven't presented in a long time. So I'm just throwing that out there. So I appreciate you being here and listening.
So how does the room look to you?
Pretty
Closer to the
inviting.
table,
So, wins and biggest challenges. So I'm going to share what mine has been over the last 30 days for you. So you got right to me, and then I got to come up. It was perfect. So I feel I've been pretty lost. I want to be an entrepreneur. I've been an esthetician, so I do skincare, and I've done some. I want to have my own business. I don't want to work for somebody, so I know that. And I've been searching, for how's this going to happen, and I've been a little lazy. So in the last 30 days, I have met with Karen. Everybody knows Karen?
Mm-hmm.
And we just met for lunch, and she just threw it out there. Do you want to have this 30-minute strategy session? Sure. I have the time. Let's go ahead. I'm game. So we went ahead and did that, and I've also done, like my whole life, I've been interested in beauty and health and now coaching and helping people. So that's why I think I was like, yeah, something else. I need another thing to put into my brain that I'm not using. So I was completely amazed. She had that little Post-it note and was asking me questions about shapes, and I'm like, okay, all right. And it was like smack dab, like, how do you know who I am? This is amazing, and I wanted more because it was amazing. So I took the next step and I did my business x-ray, and there again, my gut and my intuition just kept telling me, this is it, Wendy. I can't answer the why, I just know. I know this is it, and I also feel like things are God things too. It's very deep into my soul. So this was my leading thing. So, and I also, like I said, I'm an esthetician and a coach. I'm not an inventor. I don't want to invent the wheel again and again and again. So I knew that having a support system and having other people that have these tools for me to use this is what I need. So I came up with this little document, and I'm going to share it with everybody. So mine in the middle over the last 30 days is, like I said, Wendy's completely lost and not on this path to get what she wants, and it's kind of hard to actually, admit that too. So what I have now is amazing. I have filled in my boxes, and to share with you, I have one-on-one coaching now with Mark. I have my action vision plan. I have tools of being able to give these 30-minute strategy sessions to people. I have my boyfriend, who is also a coach and a consultant, to be able to say, this is what I'm doing, and he is my cheerleader and my coach, and we're going to take him to the next level of pushing me a little more, and he did that with me yesterday, so that was great. These in-person mastermind groups, this one, the Coffee Connection that I've already been going to, the phone calls, the mastermind phone calls, my new network. So now I have new friends here, the ones that I've been creating. So now I have like individual people that are going to support me, and I also threw in my calendar, for time management, like you were talking about. So this is how I'm going to be able to, and this is just some of the ways that now I can and this is what I have accomplished now in the last 30 days. Like, now I can get the things that I want because I have this amazing support system. And if I want to take it to the next level, I can say, well, maybe this is the one I want to really focus on for the next month. Because this is the one that I see is going to get my next biggest challenge taken over the edge.
So let me ask you a question, Wendy. How could someone else have a support system? Could they do the same thing? Can anybody fill this out?
I think 100% absolutely.
Do you have anything that you might be
I'm
able
going to do it.
Oh.
I'm going to give everybody a handout. I
That's
printed
wonderful.
up some. So thanks for asking.
Sure.
So take 2, or if you want more, that's fine as well. So what I want you to think about is you started asking that of everybody originally. What was your biggest challenge from last month? And put that in your little target box with the little guy. So that's going to be what your biggest challenge was. And think about what tools, systems, books, internet, what did you do to accomplish that, to being able to tell us that you accomplished your goal today? So how did you get your win? Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions?
So what's in the center again?
That was where your biggest challenge was from last month.
Okay.
And it's also okay, like if you have 3, that's fine. You don't have to have the whole entire box filled in. It's what works for you.
What if we haven't overcome that challenge yet?
Then you can hold your horses, and we'll do that on the next page.
So the boxes around it is how we've overcome it?
Yeah, what system, like how I know what I'm gonna be able to have, like having my action vision plan is one of my systems and supports. And what tool or system helped you to achieve that? Okay. Okay. So I think having that as a review is helpful, because I think sometimes what we do is we accomplish something but we forget to kind of take that time to think like, oh, how did I actually accomplish this? So sometimes it's good to have those checks and balances. So perfect that you have the idea of how you achieve this month's. So what I was hoping you could do for the next blank piece of paper, which we could do this, in your own time. So put your next month's biggest challenge, and now fill in what tools am I going to use for the next 30 days to be able to accomplish that.
So this should be a challenge that can be fixed in 30 days.
Yes.
How do you know if it can be done in 30 days?
I suppose you don't know for sure.
What should you do then?
Try anyways.
Make progress?
Yeah, but if you had a problem that's gonna take 60 or 90 days, that's okay. not everything takes a week, a day, a month, or some things take a year.
Maybe make the piece smaller so that one piece could be achieved and not,
Or maybe there's part of the system that we're not using or understanding or even seeing, where it can happen in 30 days. Maybe you can't see it happening in 30 days once you put it down, but maybe you reach out to the team and say, what tools should I be using? What am I missing here?
Or maybe we're trying to eat the elephant in one bite instead of picking apart.
The driver would never do that.
No.
No.
Swallow the elephant. Now.
Right.
Take 2 elephants to go.
So how do you,
How do you measure that?
I'd like that
I
tool.
mean, how do you know when you're believing in people too much?
Right.
I mean, the systems are all there.
What do you mean by believing in people?
That's a good question.
That's why he asked
Well, to
it.
me, the answer is having faith the person will follow through. So as a coach, I have to have faith that after my 30-minute breakthrough session, they're actually going to follow through.
What if they don't?
Oh, I follow up. Because I always want to know what's stopping them from moving forward. So there has to be a way of measuring that, right?
I believe there is. What would be a good way to measure that, Mark?
What do you want to measure?
Conversion. Because that's really what we're talking about, is converting faster. Because if they're not converting at the end of the 30-minute session, there has to be, I have to be able to measure at what point do they convert, and I want to make that space smaller and
So what
smaller.
you do is every lead gets put into a spreadsheet.
Okay.
And you put the start date when the lead came into the system, and then the close date, and then you go ahead and then you measure the time between the two, and then you'll get an average sales cycle closing rate.
Okay.
And then whatever that is, if you implement certain things from the DNA of people, DNA for business, DNA for life, if you bring that in, it's like Miracle Grow, and you'll see that reduced.
Got it. Perfect, thank you.
So have you guys ever found that sometimes people ask questions and they don't really want the answers?
Don't you dare. I find out people don't ask the questions, I give them the answers anyway that they don't want.
Well, that's the thing. See, if you give somebody an answer to a question they're not asking nearly, it often pushes out it pushes them out. Like, they would have accepted the answer. Why are you coming back here?
I don't know that.
Oh, well, she said, can I sit down? And I said, sure, if you want
Oh,
to.
I
good.
like
Okay.
when you're up there.
All right.
Okay. My bad, actually.
Okay, good.
You're in charge, right?
I am.
Okay.
I'm at the head of the table.
Right, and so you're in charge, and so if you try to give somebody the solution before they're ready to have the solution, it elongates the implementation of the solution.
Could you help someone ask the right question?
See, a lot of times people ask the right question, but they're not really listening for the answer, which is an indication that they really aren't ready for the answer.
If you ever heard the thing, the teacher will come when the student is ready?
The student, or the teacher will appear when the student's ready.
Right, that's really true. If you try to teach somebody who's not ready, you're targeting a wall.
Right, Tom Kuntz and I had that conversation for about 2 years, because I hate that.
When the student's ready, the
Right.
master will appear, the teacher will appear.
Right, when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. I hate that. It's such a sloppy, cop-out things for teachers. Well, the reason I didn't succeed is because the student wasn't ready. Maybe you weren't that good of a teacher. So I like when the teacher's ready, the student will appear.
Except that's not always true, because there's just some people that aren't ready to change their life, or aren't willing to learn, or aren't willing to make the changes to be successful. They're just not ready, and they're not gonna do it.
Well, then maybe they're not your student.
Right.
Really?
Then they're not gonna appear.
You think that's true?
Because they're not
I
gonna
know that's
go
true,
to the
You
teacher.
know that's true.
I know that's true.
Really? That's interesting.
So it's
Not
a
even
natural
maybe.
law.
Yeah, but see, I would ask for those people, do they have an understanding of what is their pain? What's causing their pain? Because that's typically what stops people, is they're not necessarily in touch or aware of the pain that they're in, or what's causing their pain. And no one, for me, I find that for a lot of the women that I interact with, no one's ever asked them what someone else can do to help them resolve their pain. No one's, I mean, so when I ask that question, it's like, wow. Because no one's ever spent the time to really peel those layers.
Sometimes, like, especially with young people, sometimes they're just partying, having a good time. They're not in any pain. They don't have any responsibility, they don't have any, you know,
So do we need to help create pain in their life?
All you
maybe.
have to do
But I-
is reveal future pain.
Right.
But sometimes,
Reveal future
sometimes,
pain.
sometimes they
I love
don't get the future pain. I tried that this morning. I've got a secretary who's young, who's making good money right now. She's waitressing because it's fun, like, you know, and it's just, she's not going anywhere right now because she doesn't have any pain. She's got all the money she needs. You know, she's paying $400 a month rent. She's, you know, having a good time. So, you know, I was saying, you know, in the future, this isn't gonna work. Waitressing at night, you're not gonna have a family and everything.
Maybe if you're a better teacher, you'd have gotten through to her.
Maybe.
Maybe. I
But
mean,
maybe-
Journey in 23 minutes on the phone, I mean, she's like totally whipped. I mean, she's like, this is the most amazing thing, and on the phone.
But the difference with Journey is Journey has kids, and she's responsible because she has to take care of the kids.
Do you know why you said that?
Because it's true.
No, because the sky is blue and you didn't say that.
It's just women who have a family most of the time are a lot more responsible because they have another mouth to feed, and
Well,
they have
that'd
to
be
do it.
one way of thinking, there's other ways of thinking.
Well, I'm sure of it.
And if you found those other ways, you might actually become a better teacher and be able to get through. I mean, who in this room cares the most about John?
His brother. Oh, it is a room.
Johnny, man.
Well, even if his mom was in the room, I would guess that she wouldn't. She wouldn't. So is anybody paying attention to John? Is anybody really listening to John? Does anybody care about John?
That was a lot of questions.
Of course we do.
Yes, we do. I do.
In the dimension you're in.
In the dimension I'm in, always.
Right.
So you asked, who cares most about Jonathan? I would guess it would
John.
be you,
John.
and then maybe John, and then maybe Ed.
Okay. So if you were to say that, Mark, I guess it might be you.
I guess it might be you, Mark.
What would that then do?
And that would mean something pretty interesting, that you care more about Jonathan than Jonathan cares about
John,
you.
not
What?
Jonathan.
John.
John.
John, sorry.
John, yeah.
Okay. My bad.
That's good.
I believe that's true.
What do you think? Yeah.
That Mark cares more about John than John cares about John? I don't buy that.
I don't buy that either.
I think John cares about John more than anybody else in this room.
Right.
Sure.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, in the dimension you're thinking. There might be another dimension.
That's
There's
true.
multiple dimensions.
There might be another dimension.
You can teach me these dimensions, I'm start using that, people.
It's really powerful.
I like it.
Yeah, it absolutely.
Makes them think.
I mean, there was a call this morning that the guy had, unbelievable guy. He's in real estate out in New Mexico. He's got his doctorate in education, his master's degree in counseling and clinical psychology, and his bachelor's degree in engineering, and he's in the military.
Why?
Why what?
Why is he in the military?
He was in the military.
Oh, he
Now-
was in the
Now he's in
military.
real estate.
They probably paid his education.
Oh, sure.
So,
Absolutely.
so I mean, next Thursday at, what time is it? 9 o'clock, I think, is the
Legacy?
Legacy. Were you on that call?
Mhm.
Did you
9
notice
a.m.
anything about that?
I noticed that they had a good rapport.
Who had a good report?
Oh, I don't even remember their names.
No, it's okay.
But it was only the two gentlemen that
Oh,
were
okay, so,
going back and
so,
forth.
John and who was the other one? I'm trying to think, I don't remember either.
Was it Randy?
Randy, yes, yeah,
Ackerman?
you're right. Any idea why they had such good rapport?
Same personality.
Same dimension.
It's the same dimension, they are similar personalities too, but same dimension. Yeah, did you see anything else?
Um, I think, like, if we're sticking on what we were just talking about, then the whole teacher-student thing was totally there.
What was going on with that?
I think some of it was a little self-recognition, like they
Mutual
thought
admiration.
they knew where they were, but they were really a little bit off in their thinking. I think they were further than they were even letting themselves know that they were.
Further up or further down?
I think up.
Really? Any idea why? You thought they were up? What do you think I was thinking?
I think, I don't know, I felt, I don't know what you were thinking, but I felt that it was more of just a challenge to get them to realize it.
So where do you challenge from being down or being below somebody or higher somebody? Who challenges? To challenge somebody, what do you have to be? Almost always, I think. You have to be higher than they are.
Yeah.
So you were thinking they were being, that they were higher than they realized.
And you
Yeah, I
were
was
challenging them. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're like, yeah, you're not anything close to where you think you are. I mean, you do have a doctorate in education. You'd think you'd know about education and being a student and teacher. You'd think you were. So that's the gift you can give young adults. I mean, the things that you can teach people who are teachable on how to play with people that have decades of experience in life and so much education, but they really don't know that much. They just don't. It's so easy to go ahead and take somebody that has a lot of education and recognize that they don't know some of the most basic things about some of the areas of expertise that they're supposed to have. So if somebody really cared about John and was really paying attention to John, what would they do to help John out?
How can I help you achieve your biggest challenge the next 30 days?
Well, it's listening to John. And so nobody's really listening to John. And that I do not understand why. I wonder if it's because everybody's so self-absorbed in their own lives that they just can't get outside their own lives, not recognizing you're probably not going to solve the problem of your own life when you're stuck in your own life. If you help somebody else solve their own problem, who knows, maybe you'll solve your own problem.
Yeah, but very few people understand that concept.
Exactly,
They really don't.
right? Because if John really cared about himself more than I cared about myself, then he would know the answer to this question. But he's as clueless about this, what I'm talking about, as anybody else. which is just very intriguing. So he has no more understanding of what I'm talking about than anybody else in the room, even though he's the one that we're talking about. So if he really cared about himself, then he would know, but he doesn't.
That's why I sensed you care more about John than Jonathan does.
John.
John! Gosh, I keep thinking Jonathan, my bad.
John, any idea?
No.
Yeah. I mean, I tried to help you out, but it didn't stick with you. And I tried to give little hints and tips and say, often people ask questions and they don't get the answer. Does that help?
A little bit.
Okay, do you now know what we're talking about?
Nope.
No? You ask a question and you never got the answer. You asked me a question.
I did. I
Yes,
know.
you did.
Yeah,
You never
started-
got- do
I
you
know
get-
you started talking about other
Right.
stuff.
Right. And I never gave you an answer.
Yeah, I know.
Right. What? Did you, if you really wanted, that's where you could learn something. Like, I wish my grandson was here. Like Danny. Like, he's almost 3. And let me tell you, adults could learn a lot from a 3-year-old. You ever want to learn how to sew? Just look at a 3-year-old. Because let me tell you, if he wants something, it's like, I will not be denied. He'll ask and then he'll ask again. If you don't give him the answer he wants, he'll somehow figure out he'll get what he wants. It is laser focused. This is what I'm going to get. And so if you really wanted that answer to that question, you'd have asked again. I don't know if anybody's ever explained something often, like with me, when people ask a question, if it's a hard question, then I won't answer it unless they ask 3 times. It's just a system. And it's for their own consideration because, you know what, it's going to push them farther. They'll figure it out. It may take them 6 months, but if I give them an answer too soon to the question, it's like cutting the cocoon, opening the butterfly, opening it up. It hurts the individual, it doesn't help them. That makes sense? Cool. Go ahead.
Oh, the only other thing I would say is we might be feeding off his presentation, so that thing that you explained about you kind of have that feeling like, oh, I know that feeling, so I know how that person's feeling. So he's sitting kind of quietly and he's a little self-drawn in, and maybe in our minds, unconsciously or consciously, we're thinking, well, maybe he doesn't want to be bothered or have questions asked, because to me, that's the presentation I get from how he's just carrying himself. Just a little more quiet, soaking it in, so maybe that's why he's here, and so I'm throwing that out there, but maybe that's part of that thing that we do is, being amiable, I guess, I don't know.
So are we caring more about John when we think that way?
No,
or are we-
absolutely not.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
So what would be caring about John? What would that look like?
Have him repeat the question again, and then see if we can get the answer.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I don't remember the question.
That's
Right,
exactly right.
Oh, that,
Right.
All right, John, we were doing so good till this point, okay?
Right. I didn't think you would,
Mhm.
because it was just a random. You latched onto it. You nailed it, and I'm like, unbelievable! I can't believe he nailed it. But then it's like, hey, he's gonna forget it.
But would it
Is
be
it
worth
about,
it to go on to the
dimensions?
DNA of people and maybe we'd find some solutions?
I think maybe.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay, good. Well, hang on to the question you forgot to ask. And we're gonna move into our next segment. Thank you, Wendy. Good job, okay?